Hi, I'm Councilmember Jennifer Mossotti, Councilmember of the District 9. I'm here today at Fire Station number 1 with firefighters who happen to be female. With me this morning is Assistant Chief Kristen Chilton and Captain Maria Roberts. Good morning.
Good morning.
Assistant Chief Chilton, tell me about your history with the Lexington Fire Department.
I was hired in Lexington Department 1993, so in this next January I'll be here 21 years.
21 years. 21 years ago, most women I didn't think would be interested in being a firefighter. What made you decide to be a firefighter?
I happened to be attending Transylvania University down the street, and I was a senior, and I took a basic first aid class, and we decided to do a little field trip, and we walked down here to station number 1, and the fire department personnel at the time was on the EC unit, the station tier, gave us a tour, and there was one of the females, one of our first females that was hired, which was Lisa Daly, was assigned to EC1. And she just, at that point, they were like, if you ever want to come ride with us, and we'll show you what it's like. And I did a couple of ride times with EC1 that was stationed here, and I just decided to go ahead and try out and see if I could possibly be a firefighter.
So you got the bug.
Mm-hmm.
Good. And Captain Roberts, what about you? What made you decide to be a firefighter?
Wow, that would be my entire upbringing. I grew up, my father was a volunteer firefighter. Both my older brothers were volunteer firefighters with that same department. So I grew up, responding to the station with my dad and with my brothers and sitting around. So when I turned 16, I joined that department, came down here to Eastern Kentucky University and got my degree in fire science and got my paramedic and tested here and got to live out my dream.
Tell me, how many firefighters are there in total on our Lexington department?
Currently we have 543.
How many females of that 543?
We have currently on the line today, we have 13 on the line, and we have our 14th is right now in the recruit academy.
Now I see you both of you ladies have rank. How many do we have in rank?
We currently have one assistant chief, which is myself. We have 3 captains and 2 lieutenants.
Okay, let me ask you, how do we compare with other cities our size or nationally as far as the number of female firefighters?
Currently we're about 1% behind the national average. We're about 2.9% female population here, and across the nation it's about 3.9%.
Have you encouraged any type of, let's say, discrimination, especially since the two of you have been on for such a long time, maybe when you go to to respond to an event, or from colleagues in the department? A lot of times the public's perception of you is a lot different. They don't expect you to be the one that, especially when we're in a leadership role and you're responding as the leader of the group that you're responding to, especially in a district major's position, which Maria has found out. Oftentimes the public will automatically go to one of the male members of the company, and when they direct them to the female, they're all kind of astonished sometimes. So that it takes a little while for even the public to get used to. I would understand that. Has there been any specific incidences in your career that stand out to you, that you have either been involved with or can give some information on that would be unique?
I had an elderly woman one time. We went to her house for her smoke detector going off, and we checked it out, and I talked to her about it, and she said, do you think you could send one of the boys in and just make sure? And I think a lot of that is more age than anything. Our elderly generation, women weren't doing this when they were our age. So a lot of it's generational. Since I've been on the job, as far as the other firefighters go, I've had great welcome from the people I've worked with.
There was an incident where a female firefighter was killed. Has that been the only? I know it's not been the only tragedy, but has that been the only tragedy involving a female? I think she was a paramedic.
In 2004, Brenda Cowan was
Yes.
killed. She was an EMT, and she had just made lieutenant that January. But that's the only line of duty injury, or not line of duty death that's involved a female firefighter.
It's a difficult job. Any type of job involving public safety and contact with the public is extremely difficult. What do you find is your most difficult task being on the fire department?
I don't really know that one thing. If you take this job and look at it and just look at it as coming in and doing your best every day, gender isn't as big of an issue as we would think.
As I said, you're firefighters who happen to be female.
Absolutely.
And that's, I think your counterparts suggested that to me when I came in, that there's no question that they feel comfortable working with you, that they feel that you know the job, and that you can handle a job. And I certainly do appreciate your hard work. I know how difficult it is to deal with public safety issues and to deal with, you know, something it's not a normal job. Every day there's something different I believe you face. As assistant chief, how do you feel in your position?
It's been an honor that Chief Jackson has trusted me to put me in the position that I am, which is Assistant Chief of Administration. So I'm over hiring and discipline and a lot of the budget stuff. So it's been quite a challenge, a lot of
Budget
adjustment.
is always a challenge.
Yeah, budget's always a challenge. Get to attend lots of council meetings, as you know.
Yes.
But the career in general has been a great career. It's always exciting. I really miss the fire line. I miss coming to work and going out and feeling like you make more of a difference. I know that takes a lot to keep the fire department running behind the scenes, but you do miss being on a truck and you feel like you're not part of the division like it used to be when you actually got to ride a truck. So I do miss it.
Another question would be longevity. What is the typical longevity of a firefighter or as a female firefighter? I know a male does firefighter probably does not have to be the primary caregiver when it comes to children and family. Does that enter into the picture at all? Have you had?
I think you'd be surprised how many of them are.
Is that right?
How many of them on their 2 days off are home with their kids?
How many moms
and
do we
their
have
wives
on the
are
fire
working?
department?
1, 2, 3, 4. I'd say at least half of us are.
Probably more than
if not
half.
More,
Yeah,
if not.
probably 3/4.
So you do a lot of juggling because your schedule is
Oh,
not
yeah.
a normal schedule, is it?
No.
Tell me about your schedule.
It's the ideal schedule. You have 1 day on, and then you're home for 2 days. So I get to have a career, and I get to be a stay-at-home mom. I've got an incredible group of stay-at-home mom friends that we do play dates, and we go to the library, and we do all those things because I'm home 2 out of every 3 days. I get to spend that time with my child, but at the same time, I have a career. And to have that kind of balance is really a blessing.
To have a job that you love and be able to do another job that you love
Yep.
is truly, as you say, a
Absolutely.
blessing. And again, I can't thank you enough for your service, and I appreciate you coming down here this morning, and thank you. Welcome back. I'm here with 3 firefighters, again, who happen to be female, who were the first female group that responded to an event here in Lexington. And Captain Maria Roberts, firefighter Amanda Arbogast, and firefighter Sarah McGill are here with us to talk about that incident that happened approximately about 2 weeks ago?
2 months ago.
I'm sorry, 2 months ago. Can you tell us a little bit about the event?
It was close to shift change. We get off about 7 o'clock in the morning. My normal driver needed to be out the door at 7, so he asked if Amanda would take the run for him. So she drove us, and we went about a block down Martin Luther King to a very serious mulch fire. It was smoldering, just a little bit of smoke, so we grabbed the water can and put it out.
So, firefighter Arbogast, you drove the truck.
Yes, ma'am.
Which side? I'm talking about this big truck here?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me about driving this truck. What does that feel like?
It's a little bigger than my personal vehicle, but takes a little bit of training, but you get used to it.
So tell me, you're a firefighter, you've been on for how long?
I came out of the academy on March 1st.
So from March 1st, you've been here approximately 7 months, and have you been driving the truck ever since?
After about 2 months after you take your first red book is when we are allowed to officially drive the truck.
So have you always wanted to be a firefighter?
I always wanted to do something in the medical field, and I started EMT class and loved that, and then got affiliated with fire department back home in northern Kentucky, and loved the fire service.
So at this particular incident, you were driving the truck,
Yes, ma'am.
and firefighter McGill, what were you doing?
I was in the back, and I went with Captain Roberts and helped put it out.
Now, when you say help put it out, did you drag a hose? How did you help? Did you
No.
use a fire extinguisher? What did you do?
We used a water can, like a fire extinguisher,
Okay.
and that was it.
And how long have you been on the force?
I just came out in August.
August. And what about your background? Tell me why you decided you wanted to be a firefighter.
Well, I've always wanted to do something in the medical field. I was a recreation therapist. I just have a passion for helping people, wanted to do something where I feel like I could have a positive impact. I love the brother and sisterhood of the fire department, and just something that's physically and mentally challenging.
You know, I guess about 4 months ago, I went to the training. They had a council training day for us, and we got to experience what a day would be like as being a firefighter. Well, after I got the gear on and the suits and the helmet and tried to go up the ladder with that, I was exhausted. Obviously, you have to be in pretty good physical condition to do this. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you do regular training or workouts, or you just have a good, disposition where this doesn't have any effect on you?
Work out regularly.
Do you
Yes.
really? Is there any part of the job that you find most difficult?
I mean, being new, I think it's just trying to learn as much as you can each day you're at work, from your surroundings, from other firefighters, and trying to just stay focused and make the most out of each day, no matter what it is.
Now, I know this is the first time that 3 females have responded to an event. Can you give me some other examples of other events that may be a little bit more demanding than a mulch fire that you all have been involved in?
We had a structure fire last day.
And your job again was driving that truck.
No, I was on the nozzle that day.
So tell me what that means when you're on the nozzle.
I was in the back of the truck, pulled the crosslay, and put the fire out.
So you drug a hose,
Yes, ma'am.
and how heavy is that hose?
Heavy enough.
Well, what would you say poundage-wise? To drag that hose, and how heavy was it, and how far did you have to drag it?
Probably about 50 to 75 feet. I don't know.
And as far as, that's a heavy hose. I tried to do it myself, and I found it very, very difficult because you're in full gear when you're doing this.
Yes, ma'am.
And tell me about the gear. What you wear when you're putting out these fires? Every time you get on the truck, are you suited up?
If it's a fire response, we put our gear on. If it's a motor vehicle accident, we put our gear on. If we're just going on an EMS run, then we're dressed like this. But anything where we might encounter fire, then we've got our gear on.
So gear-wise, tell me heavy-wise, because I thought it was extremely heavy, weight-wise.
35 to 50 pounds, depending on if you've got your air pack on.
So that's pretty, you're pretty small. So I would say that would be, kind of difficult. Do you find it difficult at all?
That's what we train for, and that's what I work out for.
So that's not even in your mind. Once you get through this, you're there to take care of the event and put out the fire or put out the mulch or give someone some kind of assistance. Have you found, when you 3 responded to this first time being an all-female squad, what was the reaction there?
Well, there wasn't really anybody there. It was 6:30 in the morning, and it was the side of MLK, so there weren't people milling about. Now, our response when we got back to the station, the crews of the other trucks and quarters were kind of like, they started looking as we backed in, and myself and McGill got out to back Arbogast in. They started looking, and hey, there's 3 of you. Yes, there is.
And they're all female.
So they took a little picture of us.
Well, that's great.
Made a little deal of it. So.
Well, it's something to be said. It should be, this is, again, not a traditional type of occupation, and it's really important for you all and for all of us as women to have role models like you. Most little girls I don't think, grow up thinking that they're going to be firefighters. I know I have 3 grandsons that talk about firefighters and police officers and want to do things like that, but most of the little girls that I know, that's not in their thought process. But I really commend you for choosing this career. It's difficult. I know Captain Roberts has said it helps out being this career and being a mother too. Are either one of you moms?
No.
Not yet. Well, certainly it lends itself to have that kind of flexibility to be able to do that. But is there anything else you'd like to tell me about the job that maybe might help others consider becoming a female firefighter?
I mean, it's a great job. I couldn't imagine doing anything else. I've only been here for a short time, but I love it. So obviously anyone that's willing to put in the work and the effort has a fair shot to do it. So if it's something you want to do, go for it.
I feel that you can do whatever you put your mind to do, whether you're female, male, doesn't matter. I mean, if you have the will and desire to do it, you can overcome any of the obstacles.
Is that every time a truck is dispatched, is an EMS unit dispatched as well? Or is
No,
it-
EMS runs, we have certain runs that get first responders automatically based on their severity. So if somebody's having chest pain, then they'll get both an ambulance and a fire engine. If it's somebody who just maybe has hurt their arm, they'll probably just get an EC unit, unless that EC unit is all the way across town, and then we'll send a fire truck to get somebody there faster.
Because that's something the public doesn't understand. I've had that question posed to me several times, is why is there a fire truck and an EC unit? And that's because of the severity.
Sometimes it's severity, sometimes it's time. We strive to have somebody on scene at least in under 7 minutes. And really kind of your golden standard is to try and get them there in 4. So if we can get a fire engine there and start helping whoever's in need, and it takes another 5-6 minutes to get the ambulance there, then we're providing a better customer service.
Thank you so much for letting me interview you today, and thank you so much for your service. I can only tell you that every little girl now that has these type of role models will be thinking about becoming a firefighter, or other ladies as well. But again, I wanted to stress that these are firefighters who just happen to be female, and they can do anything that their male counterparts can do, and obviously do it very well, else they wouldn't be here. And they have to go through a rigorous series of tests and physical agility. And again, my great thanks to you and everything you do for the city of Lexington. We couldn't do this without you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.